Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel where today we're diving into some big news from the banking world. A significant shift has occurred within HSBC, a banking giant that's no stranger to headlines. They've decided to scrap the bonus cap for hundreds of their top-tier UK bankers. This is a dramatic change from their previous compensation structure, leaving many to wonder about the implications this may have on the industry. But what led to this change? To understand this, we spoke with financial analysts and insiders to get their perspective. One of the financial analysts we consulted, who has had a keen eye on HSBC's operations for years, provided some clarity. According to her, the driving force behind HSBC's decision is the need to stay competitive in the talent market. She pointed out that HSBC has been facing stiff competition for talent from American banks that do not impose such caps. Hence, the bank likely sees this move as essential to retaining top performers and incentivizing high-level executives. This rationale is not entirely surprising. In the fast-paced world of banking, talent is the lifeblood of any institution. The ability to attract, retain, and motivate the best in the industry has profound implications for a bank's performance and, ultimately, its bottom line. The analyst further explained that in the fiercely competitive banking sector of London, where HSBC has a significant presence, the ability to offer competitive compensation packages can make or break a bank's success. However, the analyst also emphasized that such a decision does not come without its own set of challenges and potential backlash. The removal of the bonus cap could be seen as a move away from the trend of increased regulation and scrutiny that the banking industry has been subjected to since the financial crisis of 2008. This could potentially lead to increased scrutiny from regulators and the public alike. That being said, she also pointed out that it's a fine balance. On one hand, there's the need to pay enough to keep the best people. On the other, there's the public perception and regulatory concerns about excessive banking bonuses. In a world where public trust in financial institutions is still fragile, decisions like these are always under scrutiny. Interesting insight there. The ability to offer competitive compensation packages is crucial, especially in London's fierce banking sector. As we continue to delve into this topic, it's clear that the world of banking is a complex one with many factors at play. Stay tuned as we explore more about this in the next segment. But not everyone agrees with the decision. In the heat of the meeting, voices of dissent rose from the crowd. Shareholders, the true owners of the bank, expressed their concerns. They questioned the signal this move sends about fiscal responsibility and the potential ripple effects it might have on society at large. To shed more light on this, we brought in a banking sector expert who has spent years navigating the complex world of executive compensation. They explained that it's all about striking a delicate balance. On the one hand, you want to offer competitive salaries to attract and retain the best talent. But on the other, there's the public perception and regulatory concerns about excessive banking bonuses. These concerns are not unfounded. After all, in the wake of the financial crisis, banking bonuses became a symbol of corporate greed for many. The decision to scrap the bonus cap, to some, may appear to be a step back towards those reckless days. And let's not forget, public trust in financial institutions is still in the process of being rebuilt. Decisions like these are always under the microscope, scrutinized not only by regulators and shareholders, but also by the public. With public trust in financial institutions still fragile, decisions like these are always under scrutiny. Let's look at some historical data on banking bonuses and public reactions. Banking bonuses have been a contentious issue for decades. In the late 20th century, they were seen as a necessary incentive to attract and retain the brightest talents in the industry. However, the financial crisis of 2008 brought this practice under intense scrutiny. As economies worldwide crumbled and ordinary people lost homes and jobs, the banking sector continued to award sizable bonuses, sparking public outrage and a crisis of trust. To illustrate this, let's go back to the turn of the millennium. Bonuses were soaring, mirroring the boom in global finance. The public was largely indifferent, focusing instead on the benefits of economic prosperity. Fast forward to 2008, and the picture is dramatically different. As the financial crisis hit, bonuses became a symbol of greed and excess. Public sentiment plummeted and calls for banking reform grew louder. In the aftermath, many banks, including HSBC, introduced bonus caps to appease public sentiment and regulators. These caps were seen as a step towards fiscal responsibility and a way to rebuild public trust. However, they also put European banks at a competitive disadvantage compared to their American counterparts, who faced no such restrictions. Over the past decade, public sentiment has remained mixed. While there is an understanding that competitive compensation is necessary in the banking sector, there is also a desire for fair play and responsibility. The recent removal of the bonus cap by HSBC has reignited this debate, prompting us to question the balance between rewarding talent and maintaining public trust. As you can see, public sentiment on banker bonuses has often been linked to broader economic conditions and scandals in the sector. It's a delicate dance of perception and reality, a balance between attracting top talent and maintaining public trust. And as we move forward, the actions of banks like HSBC will continue to shape this narrative. Joining me now are a few esteemed guests to debate the potential impacts of HSBC's decision. These are individuals with profound knowledge and experience in the banking and financial industry. So let's delve into the heart of the matter. Let's start with you, Expert 1. How do you think this decision by HSBC will impact the banking industry, specifically here in the UK? Expert 1. There's no denying that this move could potentially set a precedent for other banks in the UK. We've seen before how decisions by one major player can influence the actions of others. If other banks follow suit, we could see an escalation in the talent war as they vie to retain their top performers. However, this also puts pressure on regulatory frameworks which might need to adapt to these changes. Host, indeed, a ripple effect could certainly be on the cards. Now, Expert 2, what about the global implications? Could this decision have a broader impact beyond the UK? Expert 2, absolutely. The banking industry is interconnected on a global scale. This decision could influence banks in other countries to reconsider their own compensation strategies. On the flip side, it could also lead to greater innovation and more aggressive business strategies. Banks might push to maximize the potential of their top executives, which could have fascinating implications for the industry as a whole. Host. That's an interesting point. The potential for innovation is certainly something to watch, but let's also consider the potential downsides. Could this decision alienate other employees or the public? Expert 3. That's a valid concern. While this move might be good for top bankers, it could create a bigger divide between them and other employees. And in terms of public perception, there's always the risk of backlash. People might see this as another example of banks prioritizing the interests of the few over the many. Host. That's certainly a delicate balance to strike. And lastly, how do you see regulators responding to this shift? Expert 4. Regulators will have to tread carefully. On one hand, they'll need to ensure that these changes don't lead to reckless behavior or instability in the banking sector. On the other, they'll want to avoid stifling innovation or competitiveness. It's a complex issue, and their response will likely depend on how these changes play out in practice. Host, thank you for your insights. It's clear that HSBC's decision is multifaceted with significant implications. As we continue to monitor this situation, it'll be fascinating to see how other banks, regulators, and the public react to this bold move by HSBC. As we watch how this plays out, it will be interesting to see how other banks and regulators respond. HSBC's move to scrap the bonus cap for its top UK bankers is undeniably a game changer, marking a significant shift in the banking industry's compensation structures. Understandably, this decision has sparked varied responses. Some see it as a necessary step to retain top talent in a fiercely competitive sector, while others express concerns about fiscal responsibility and the societal impacts of such a move. The public's perception of banker bonuses, often linked to broader economic conditions and sector scandals, adds an additional layer of complexity. As we continue to observe the ripple effects of this decision, it's crucial to bear in mind the delicate balance between competitive compensation and responsible banking. That's all for today's deep dive into HSBC's decision to scrap the bonus cap for its top UK bankers. What do you think about this move? Is it fair for the bankers, or does it risk widening the gap between the executives and other employees?